Commercial mortgages aren't like residential. They tend to be bigger, more complex, and involve more moving parts, and the process or timeline is different. Note that the following timeline can vary, and as always, it depends. The timeline to close is typically 4 to 16 weeks. A private deal can be done in days, and some institutional deals can take months or even years. By walking a client through each stage upfront, you're setting expectations and showing them you're in control of the process. The first step is always the initial meeting. The importance of this initial step is that this is where you scope the deal, build rapport, and qualify the client. It is critical to set expectations on both sides regarding timeline, costs, and required documentation. This is where you ask probing questions regarding the property, the borrower, and the income. This is where you start to see the deal. Next, the document gathering and pre-screen. This is where you, as a broker, can really add and demonstrate value. A complete, accurate package is the foundation for fast approvals. The stronger your pre-screening, the smoother the deal flows. Incomplete docs are the #1 cause of avoidable delays. Once you've pre-screened the deal and can see the deal, then you contact lenders. You're matching your client to the right lender based on asset class, geography, loan size, and borrower profile. Matching the deal to the right lenders saves time and protects your credibility. Only approach lenders whose policies fit the deal. The spray and pray approach undermines your reputation. Once you've established a few lenders that are interested in the file, the deal preparation and submission is next. This is where you prepare the executive summary that should quickly communicate why this deal makes sense, what the strengths are, and how you've mitigated any weaknesses. Think like an underwriter and answer their questions before they ask them. Also, try and establish a signature or style that you will be known for, where you make the file easy to navigate and review. If the lender is interested and would like to pursue the deal, they will issue a letter of intent, or LOI, also known as a term sheet. Make sure your client understands that these are conditional terms and not a final approval. And please highlight any unusual conditions for your client. It can help you gauge the borrower's comfort and readiness. The LOI generally spells out key points such as rate, amortization, loan amount, fees, and the required third-party reports. Once the lender has all the documents requested in the LOI, they can formally underwrite the file. This is their deep dive. They'll stress test cash flows, review appraisals, and assess borrower strength. This is where having clean, well-labeled documents pays off. Once underwriting is complete, the lender can proceed to the commitment letter, which is the lender's formal agreement to fund under specific terms and conditions. It locks in the deal. The commitment letter should, without exception, be reviewed with the client line by line. All conditions should be clearly understood, as some may be costly or time-consuming. For example, getting a new ESA or having much-needed repairs done before funding. Once the commitment is signed and any lender fees are collected, the lawyers can be instructed and the legal work begins. Separate lawyers, for both lender and borrower, prepare, review, and register the security documents. Note that the borrower pays for both sets of lawyers. Staying on top of conditions during the legal work can prevent last-minute funding delays. And finally, we get to the closing of the deal, or disbursement of funds, or simply funding. The funds are released, the mortgage is registered, and the transaction closes. This is where all your work culminates. It's important that the broker confirms all conditions are satisfied and all fees are paid before closing day. Coordinate with lawyers, the lender, and the client to avoid timing issues, especially if a purchase closing is tied to the financing. And finally, do a postmortem on what went well and what could be improved so your next deal will go smoother. Again, the whole process can take anywhere from 4 to 16 weeks, plus or minus, depending on the deal. As a broker, a big part of your value is not just getting the deal approved, but managing the process, so your client feels informed, supported, confident, and secure at every stage of the process.